All right, guys. Today we have Dale from Dale's Quails, and we are going to be talking about quail cages. I've already done kind of like a mini series of shorts on like finding random cages that and how to like kind of predator proof them, things like that. But this is like, I feel like you get the most for your money if you get your cages from Dale's Quails.
Yeah, definitely.
I think they're the best. Like they're really easy to build, and if I can build it, like he even knows, like if I can build it, like anybody can build it. So it's just like IKEA furniture with easier instructions. So I highly recommend them. But
That's when you actually get all the instructions.
yeah. I think I would have had it like a cinch if the instructions had all come. But yeah.
Well, we got our new Xerox printer was delivered today, so we'll be able to go back to colored printing. We got one of those eco printers that uses like vegetable oil. So yeah, our actual Xerox machine was costing pretty well a tractor payment to use a month. So toner is not cheap. So we look for other options, but that just got delivered today, so I'm going to set that up later. So we'll go back to colored instructions again. Plus the videos. You did prompt me to make the video. Like your fiasco was pretty well the straw that broke the camel's back, and I was like, all right, within the next few months we need to do some videos. So actually the last few weeks we've been really focused on getting the videos out.
Yeah, that was a me thing though, so I'm sure no one else has the kind of issues that I have. But to be fair, now I can put the cage together and I can use a screwdriver, so you know. Okay, so let's backtrack a little bit. Can you introduce yourself for people that don't know who you are yet, and talk about why you started your homestead and your business?
Well, it says Dale's Quails under the name. Can the people see that? Is that
Yeah,
good enough?
they
Can they
can.
just like Google it?
Yeah,
All right.
or they could go to my website. It links to yours too.
I am Dale from Dale's Quail. Yeah, I love it. We I don't know why we started the quail business. It wasn't supposed to be a business. I actually worked full time, upper management for grocery stores, and I wanted something a little different. So I think I got my first birds off Southwest Game Birds. I did some Googling, and I know I hated chickens. I didn't like chickens. I didn't like ducks. I was like, I don't want to deal with any of that. So I stumbled across quail, and I ended up getting some bob white, which never. I mean, that's a whole other train track there. We did do them, but I wouldn't do them again. But then I found Coturnix quail and got the birds, and so we bought 6 birds, and then like within 4 or 5 months, I was like, wow, we got so many eggs. Like, we like hustle these. Like I'm a street hustler. Like let's start hustling these. So we started hustling the eggs, and then bought an incubator because I was like, wait, chicks are worth way more. So we started selling the chicks, and it kind of just grew. My original business plan was just to sell hatching eggs, and then I actually dipped my foot in the hatching egg world, and this was almost 6 years ago. And that's when I saw there was, thousands of people selling hatching eggs. And then I was like, this isn't going to be fun or easy. So we tried it. I hated Zach. I thought everybody who sold hatching eggs was a competitor. So I just, I looked at it the wrong way and was like, no, my eggs are better. I don't know why, but they're better. And I got linked up with some smaller farms, and they wanted to see my cages. So I'm a very cheap human being. I'm very stingy. I like knowledge and learning things, not because it makes me a better person, but because it means I don't have to spend money to pay someone else to do something. So I started building my own cages, and someone had actually seen them on a video call. I don't remember what it was. It was years ago. And he said, hey, man, if you can ship those, I'm sure we could sell them. And well, the whole business plan went from hatching eggs to cages. I stopped selling hatching eggs, everything. So that's kind of what got us into the cages. The homesteading, well, have you seen society? Have you gone out anywhere? Being in the only places that the government allowed open in 2020, running grocery stores, and seeing the fall of society so quickly was just mind blowing. We were working. I was gone 70 to 80 hours a week just to,
Mhm.
trying to keep stocks or shelf stocked. And, we were being told we're heroes and, we're doing the community service. And then it's like, I don't get to see my family. I get to see the worst of the worst in people. And then, I grew up on a farm in Canada. I grew up really poor before I went to Canada. So I knew how to garden. And I was like, we're just gonna start gardening. And it just kind of all snowballed. It was just one day I woke up and I said, today's the day that I come home without a job. And believe it or not, that's what happened. I came home and I had no job. And I started expanding the garden, expanding the quail. And fast forward 5 years, and we're producing 90% of what our family of five eats. So, plus our two large dogs are all fed off our property. So, I mean, I don't know, I guess I get asked that a lot. What made us start it? And it's just, I I spent too much time in public and just sitting back and seeing how people treated others and the
Mhm.
desperation on people's faces if the tomatoes were out of stock. And it's like, guys, I mean, this stuff's all easy to grow and
Yeah.
produce. You don't need space. And, there's a lot of factors. Um, my distrust. I shouldn't say distrust. I trust the governments to do what governments do, and that's screw over their people. No matter what, that's just what governments do. That's their whole point. And I wanted a lifestyle that, was minimally reliant on outside forces. So that was our driving factor. And then, we had my youngest 5 years ago, and his first year of life, I don't think he had a single piece of food that was processed.
Mhm.
He went from breast milk to food that we provided right here on the property. And then I remember the first time we gave him, I don't want to say it was like a cheese puff or something. He was not. He said, no, no. Tried to give him a hot dog when he was about a year and a half. He said, no. Like, if it wasn't real food, he didn't want it. And, kid's never been sick. I've really never been sick. So the health is part of it now, but that isn't what drove us to do it. It was, saving money. A dollar saved is worth way more than a dollar earned, you know, and it just kept snowballing. We just pushed
Mhm.
for it. Now it's every day. I mean, this morning I was out cutting down corn, harvested some watermelon, cucumbers daily, just all kinds of stuff, building cages. We just don't have to leave our property very much now.
I always learn so much, like just even talking to you at like QuailCon. Like, I think it's so awesome that you guys have done that. And I think the more people that see that a lot of people that are doing it now started around like COVID and just were like, we're going to make a change and just did. And then you just kind of learn more and more and put one foot in front of the other. Like, it's like way more attainable, I think, than people realize. It's hard work, but like everything is. Like,
Is and you've got to want it.
yeah.
I mean, we made a lot of mistakes, but a lot of it was just okay. We're getting this. Let's move on to the next thing. It's just pushing through, and now it's just a normal daily cycle. Like
Mhm.
I remember the first 2 years was just it was harvest season. It was like the end of the world. It was like a month straight, and then of course we had QuailCon right in the middle of harvest season. So we're just scattering frantically across this property, harvesting food that wasn't ready, leaving food that was, and we've just learned to just chill. I thrive under pressure. I don't study for things. Like you sent me some stuff, and when I did an interview with uh, Kristen and another lady from Electric Iris, they sent me some questions they wanted to ask me, and I was like, "Am I supposed to study those?" Because I mean, I get it. I know that's how things go, but I'm an under pressure person. I like knowing that if the business fails, we're not paying the few bills we have. So that's enough of a drive for me. I don't know. I guess I just enjoy the challenge. I'm a very difficult person. Really, anyone who knows that I'm a very difficult person. I'm very easy, but I just like the hard things in life. I don't know why.
But that's a good mentality to have with homesteading because this stuff is not easy. And I
No,
think the culture of like making everything look so easy on TikTok isn't helpful either.
it's nonsense. All these
It's way harder than you
oh my goodness, don't. I mean,
think.
again, I don't talk bad about people that aren't there to defend themselves. So I will generalize and just say there's a difference between real homesteaders and YouTube homesteaders. Okay, there's a reason we don't put out videos. There's no time.
Right. Okay, so we kind of talked about what made you decide to build your own cages instead of like buying ones. So, what do you think are good key features of a good Coturnix quail cage?
Well, first you have to figure out what you want. What your goal is. If you want pet, it's going to be completely different setup than if you want efficiency.
Hmm.
If you want to sell chicks, going to be a completely different setup than if you want to sell adults. So that's first. You have to know what you want. It's something we've learned. It's not a one size fits all for cage designs. It's really not. Our setups are designed for efficiency in cleaning, efficiency in gathering eggs, growing out, brooding, all that. So you can use a little bit of you know all of that into a little bit of all the different options, but ours are specifically designed for efficiency. So you figure out what you're going to use it for, and then it's poop, right? You got to figure out what you're going to do with the poop. How you going to collect it? How you going to clean it? How you going to manage it? That was probably one of the hardest learned lessons. It was fun, created a poop chute underneath our first cage, cut a barrel in half, plastic welded together. We're like, dude, this thing is awesome. And it didn't work very well at all. It was
It sounds
horrible.
like a good idea, though.
No, it sounded great. It was fun to do with the boys, being a homeschool family. It was a nice project, and it was a learning project, not just the skills to do it, the thought process behind it, but also them seeing how to handle failure. I mean, it
Mhm.
was terrible. I don't even have pictures of it. Like, it was
Why
terrible. I
didn't
probably
it
deleted them
work?
off my phone. The barrels all have ridges in them. I had no running water in the red shed that I call it the red shed, but the
Oh.
one at the barn that I had my original birds in. It wasn't modular. I couldn't add to it. If I had to take it apart, it was a big process to fix. It was horrible. So then I did plastic sheets on like makeshift rollers. I took some really long dowels and sanded them until they were round to make my own little rollers, and wrapped some plastic and taped it to, kind of have like a little conveyor belt system. Yeah, that was also a fail. That was horrible. And then I saw something. I don't know. I was scrolling online or something years ago, and then I saw that people were using trays, and I was like, "Oh, well, I'm an idiot." So then I started the trays. And the best part is, I still didn't start designing my cages around trays for like another year. My first few designs, we were using baking sheets. We were making our own trays, buying big ones and cutting them and bending them. And then I'm like, why don't I just design something to go around a tray? So lesson number 2 is design it around your poop catchment system, whatever that is. Huge, huge time saver.
So are yours designed around a specific size tray, or do they come with trays?
No, they don't come with trays. It costs me more to ship than it does for you to buy them and get them from the
Yeah.
company themselves. So I don't. Plus the size is, I can only ship up to 20 inches, 20 by 40, and my trays are 22 to 24 inches. The
So
shipping is
where do
not
they
an
come from?
option. Um, Most of them are designed for either oil pans, which are 36 inches on the dot, or dog kennel trays, which are 35 and a half inches, which, with the way my cage is designed, yes, there's a half-inch gap, but there actually isn't. Just
Mhm.
due to the design of the cage, there's a piece of wood that kind of covers that lip. But our brooders, the QuailCon brooder, stacking brooder, I have a redesigned small brooder that I've got to get pictures and re-update on the website, that takes a 24-inch tray. Those fit perfectly. They won't fit an oil pan. They are designed for plastic trays.
Mhm.
They last longer. They're easier to manage. They're just. I've used both, and I prefer the plastic hands down over the
Mhm.
metal. And they're pretty well the same price, if not cheaper.
Yeah, they don't really sell. I haven't seen plastic ones like because I just go get like the oil drip pans, but I just end up covering them with it's like truck bed liner, that plastic stuff, and then that seems like it's kind of helped them last a little bit longer.
It would. It makes sense. It would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just found them flimsy. I don't even like using those pans for when I do oil
Yeah,
changes
they're
because any oil in
definitely
it is terrible.
flimsy. If
Oh
you
yeah,
let them get too full, they're going like
yeah.
on your face.
I have seen people, or they've sent me things from commercial bakeries. They get really thick pans that are 36 inches. They're expensive. You want to buy them new, so if you can find them used. But the way they're curved and curled at the top, they're actually really strong.
Oh.
But I think to buy them new, it's like $50 or $60 each, and that's just
Oh yeah.
ridiculous. So I think
Yeah, for
$20
something
is
to get
ridiculous.
pooped on, that is kind of.
Yeah, but that's why I said, there's a lot of options out there. So find
I
your
would be cleaning
tray
that thing
or
with
your
a
poop thing
toothbrush.
first.
Whew, if I spent that much money on it, I'd be deep cleaning that thing every time something pooped on it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so what tips do you have on? We kind of talked about this like before I started recording, like reducing bacteria and odor in the cage system. I know a lot of people think that with wood on the cage anywhere, they're worried about it holding bacteria or getting wet or getting moldy and like ruined. Like, what's your thoughts on that? And in a nice way.
So I
I'm
believe
only with
in
wood and I love them personally.
taking a moment to run something through so I can fully process that and spit it out in a nice, um, palatable way. Everything collects bacteria. Okay, it does. Yes, wood is porous. Yes, it is going to collect more bacteria than say plastic or metal. It's not going to rust. It's also not going to become brittle and aerated with the sun. But what is going to happen when it's in the sun is it's going to sterilize itself. The sun is a sterilizer. It is. Um, I was trying to actually pull up the scientific talk for this, just dumb it down to something that even you can understand, just normal talk, because they use big words and I have to Google every word. And yeah, I'm not a scientist or a genius. I'm just stubborn. But as far as the mold goes, you need certain conditions for mold, right? It needs to be dark. It needs to be moist, no airflow. My cages, well, they're covered in wire. So if there's any light, it's not going to be dark. There's plenty of airflow. And they're vertical, so I don't understand how they'd be covered in water. Now, if you have a dripping cup or a dripping water system or use a trough or something that constantly keeps water on it, yeah, you're probably going to get some algae. As far as mold, probably not going to happen. Bacteria, okay, that's a valid concern. It is. Again, throw it out in the sun. We pressure wash our cages twice a year, every spring, every fall. It's the only cleaning we do for our cages. Brooders, different. We're speaking cages here. You could seal it, right? You can burn it, cover it in linseed oil, like the old Japanese thing does. That actually
My
seals it.
father-in-law loves that stuff. He uses it for everything.
I've got some pictures people have sent me over the years that they've done that to the kits. It looks really cool, and it does preserve it. It is wood. Okay, of the three materials, it's going to last longer than plastic. It's going to. It's not going to last as long as metal, potentially, but you can preserve it. You can paint it, stain it. You can do whatever you want to it. The wood that we use is kiln dried, so it doesn't absorb water as much as I think people have a perception of wood absorbing water. It's not as good as cedar, but this wood is the same wood we've used in our garden for 6-7 years for stakes and stuff. And it turns gray, but they're still fine. They're not rotten and molded out. My suggestion would be to make sure that you're doing a good cleaning at least twice a year. Some people do it more. That's fine. Do as much as you want. You can disinfect it just like you disinfect anything else. For quail, make sure you're not just throwing bleach in there and then throwing your birds back in. Do your research on that. I'm not a germaphobe. That stuff doesn't bother me, but I'm not a scientist, though. We just clean with fire, burn. That's how we clean our beehives. That's how we clean most of our wood stuff. We just burn. Fire is a great cleanser, or the sun. Our cages are sitting outside right now in the sun, not because they were used, but because it's nice to see what happens to them. They're just going to get gray. They're not going to get brittle. Over time, they will. It's wood, but I've also heard people talk about mites, and I've disagreed with friends and other people within the quail community on this. As someone who has only ever raised my birds in wood, I've never once had an issue with mites. And other than the first 2 months of having quail and thinking they needed sand baths, I've never once used sand baths. And it's just not something we have an issue with. Cages, if designed properly enough, are clean. They're very clean. they're cleaner than my hutch. The hutch that we set out, the run will stay perfectly clean. The hutch part needs to be manually cleaned, so that part will need to be scrubbed or something. Yes, it's pressure treated wood, but because it's closed off, it doesn't have the airflow. It is a flaw in the hutch design itself,
Mhm.
the actual hutch. But they do work really well. So it is something to consider, but I would urge people to do just a little bit of research on what it takes to create mold. What
Mhm.
bacteria are we talking about? Stuff like that, instead of just regurgitating something that is seen and thrown around. They are valid concerns, but again, learning a little bit about that stuff is only going to benefit you and your flock.
That's such a good point because yeah, I think sometimes like as newbies going into like the bigger quail groups and stuff, you see a discussion and then you're like, "Oh my gosh, I never thought about that." And then it's something you worry about and it's like, but you also got to realize too, a lot of these quail groups are well, it's always everybody in the United States, but sometimes it's like worldwide and everybody has different climates. Like it is crazy dry here. Like we should be so lucky if we had enough water to get mold. Like we don't, you know what I mean? Like that's not really an issue here. But like sometimes airflow is, or like just it being so dry and so, so it's like knowing about your climate and how it affects your climate and like, yeah, the conditions needed to create certain things. Mites, I have not heard anybody talk about that yet, but I've just never worried about that because I don't keep my chickens anywhere near my quail. I keep them all closed off totally and I keep them off the ground. So
Yeah.
yeah, that now I'm like, oh, I never thought about that, but I guess it's not really an issue. So
I mean,
yeah,
I
but
think
it's
with
like
just
you hear
basic
something, you're like, mites, not the mites, and they're oh, but they're not. It's quail. It's fine.
just basic hygiene will minimize 90% of those issues. So, and our
Okay,
cages are easy to pressure wash out. We pressure wash
yeah,
all of our wood stuff. So that's
I
why
need
I
to
have a
get a
pressure
washer.
washer and fire. I mean,
I use
you
my
can't beat
finger.
it.
I should say a disclaimer because a lot of the people that watch my channel are in Utah. Maybe not fire because y'all are gonna burn the state down.
I think I've
I
always
can't
got a big
even.
long propane torch hooked up to a big tank that I walk
That's
around and
true.
just
My
burn stuff with.
father-in-law's done that and like very, very carefully because if you accidentally, it's just a whole. We're not even allowed to have fireworks in our area. Like it's crazy dry. So like yeah, we can't
As
even
I'm
really
getting
turn the
rained
grill
on in
on
the sun.
outside without the fire department showing up. So
I
um
mean, it's literally raining on me right now, and it's sunny out. So that's how we get it up here. It's so humid out right now.
okay, let's talk feeders and waterers. What
Oh,
do
I
your
can show you
cages
those.
come with them? Do you have ones you recommend if they
Well,
don't?
yeah. Ask anyone. Mine are the best.
You have
I
the
actually
you have
don't. We
the
don't
wire
make our own
hose, right?
feeders. Yeah, so we don't make the feeders. We make the grates. I actually get my feeders from Bath. We order in bulk. I I bought some smaller tools to
From
kind of
Bath?
yeah, Bass equipment.
Oh, Bass.
Yeah,
I think
Bass.
the
Bass.
Bath like, and I was like, I've not heard of the Bass. Yeah, I know
I
that.
think they have a version where it comes with a no waste grate, but I have tried pretty well everyone's no waste grates in their J feeders, and I mean even my friends like Winola, they don't work very
I
well.
think it depends. What I've noticed is if your bird goes side to side to waste the feed or
Uh,
front to back.
so our grate we've been using for well ever since I started testing everyone else's, so for years, and I have next to no waste. I've talked to people about it, even people who do sell feeders. I haven't talked to Bass about it, but I know I talked to David from Winola Ranch a couple years ago when I was getting J feeders from them. Um, yeah, our grate is actually flip flop from what everyone else does. We only give 1 inch square holes in our grate. A lot of people do 1/2 inch by 1 inch,
Hmm.
but they're elongated, or they'll do 1.5 inch by 1/2 inch. And we found just the grates don't sit on the food properly. Birds can flip it up, stuff like that. So we just take our 1 by 1/2 inch coated wire and make our own grates. So we order the feeders from Bath, and then we put our grates in it, and that's what our feeders can come with. Can I turn my camera around? How do I do that?
Should be if you
No
click
goodness.
on the
No.
screen at the
Here, I'll just
bottom.
flip it. Flip it. Maybe get my Oh, getting a selfie with it. You got it? Can you see it? I can't see. It's too bright.
Mhm.
Okay. So yeah, so these are the feeders, and then we got our water system. Again, it's all pieced together. Get the bucket, bulkhead, the hoses, the pet cups. Yes, pet cups. Why? Because they're super cheap and they work extremely well. We've gone through, I'm going to say conservatively, we've replaced 20 over the last 6 years, and we've had over 100 tiers filled at a time.
That's
So
really good. Yeah.
um, we don't have many issues with them. If you don't have a lid on the top of your bucket, dirt can get in, algae, all that stuff, and then that can start screwing up your seals and your gaskets. But for the most part, you just clean it out. These pet cups aren't very expensive. So you just clean it out. And if it doesn't work, throw a new one in, right? Buy a pack of 20 of them.
I do
That's
have
how
a
you use the
question
pet
about
cup.
that. Your water system that you just showed, is there a reason that you use black tubing instead of clear plastic tubing or
Well,
like
yeah, algae.
PVC?
So this is actually maple syrup tubing.
Okay.
We did used to get the blue stuff. This is the same tubing I currently use for my maple syrup operation or my black walnut syrup. But we used to use the blue stuff. It was clear but blue, and it was supposed to be algae resistant or free or whatever, and it was
Mhm.
terrible. It might as well have been clear tubing. But ever since we switched to this black for our maple syrup 4 or 5 years ago, we haven't had any issues. So we actually switched 3 years ago to getting it in bulk, the tubing in bulk for our cages. We switched ours over. We use it for our rabbits. We use it for the rabbits and quail. The only things that have automatic water is like this, and
Mhm.
never no issues. They get cleaned out. We unhook the rabbit automatic waters in the winter because -30. So they get cleaned out or they get put away, and then we just put them back up in the spring. Quail never really get cleaned out. I mean, I don't think I
It
really
doesn't
cleaned them
grow
out.
any algae if it's black tubing.
Well, it'll help them filter out the sun, right? That's the idea is filter out the sun. So these teas will sometimes get, if you can see the tea,
Mhm.
that'll sometimes get a little algae in it. But again, there's no clamps on it, so it's easy to just pop the tubing off and rinse it out, clean it out.
Yeah, we have clear because that's what we could find. And even in our shed where it's like artificial light, it's still we just have to clean them or replace the whole system like every 3 months. Like
Oh,
it's
that's ridiculous. That's the
I
black stuff.
know.
Just look up
Oh, I
maple
know
syrup
it's
tubing.
ridiculous because I got to do it myself and I am not it takes me 10 times as long as it would take anybody else with common sense. So um
You,
speaking of the temperature, you said it gets because in case you guys did not know, they're in Wisconsin. It gets
Wisconsin, yeah.
really cold. Do you unhook the water systems like completely in the winter? How do you deal with that?
For
Or do you
our
have like a
rabbits or
heater set
anything
up?
out, everything outside of the quail room, yeah, there is no keeping that stuff thawed. I'm sorry. I mean, people throw heaters in and little pumps, and when it's -20 for 3, 4 weeks at a time, and then it jumps up to zero, when our winters, for the most part, a few months of zero or sub-zero temperatures. And now we're not talking wind chill because that's not a temperature. We're talking real temperature. I mean, I literally put a big ice rink in my yard, and we get to skate for months.
Yeah, I know. I've seen that. That's so cool.
So they get unhooked. The rabbits get bowls of water that we change out, but our quail are in an actual room. We got tired of running little cups of water to the quail 3 times a day when we had 70. I think we had 70 cages, 70 tiers filled.
Yeah.
And I was spending 6 to 7 hours a day just running a little bit of water.
Yep.
So we decided to cut part of our barn or section part of our barn off, and build a quail room that we keep in the winter right around 38, 40 degrees, just enough to keep everything from freezing. It's our brooder room. So the brooders, for the most part, actually keep the room above freezing because we have so many brooders going. But we do have an actual heater in there in case it does start dropping.
Have you
But
noticed that the amount of birds you keep, regardless of like not counting the brooders and the heat lamps, also keeps the temperature warmer?
oh yes, my first winter of having more than 800 birds, they were in a small shed, and I remember going in there and it was like 15, 20 below, and I could take my gloves off. I mean, I was like, wow, it is considerably warmer in here, but it was a pretty small shed. So that's cool. Like, this is cool. I mean, they are at like what, 100.6 105 or 105.8 or something, just slightly above chickens. So, you put a few hundred of them on a small spot. Yeah, they give off some heat.
We don't get that cold here, but I have noticed if it stays, yeah, probably like 38, 40, my water systems work fine.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm worried it's going to drop below that, I flick them off and then the birds just drain them. Because I have the pigeon cups, because mine are, I don't know, the pecker cups the birds have failed me with the pecker cups. They sit on them and poop in them, and it's a whole thing. So
See, it's finding that right height. We actually just put a
that
video.
actually probably, yeah.
We
Because
just put a new video on the website, and we explained that the height for those cups, it is key to have them at the right height. Otherwise, yes, that's their new nesting
I could
cup.
see that, where some of them, different feeders for different cages, depending on how you set it up, could, yeah, I ended up putting them outside the cage because I go through with a shop vac and like suck out, because they always go with like a whole full to mouth and like go in the feeders. And so I put it on the outside because I found when I put, me personally, because I'm super genius, I learned from really crazy mistakes that when you put the water system on the inside of the cage and you take a shop vac, it's not good. It is
Oh yeah,
not good.
I'm sure they don't enjoy that very much.
No, and they try to they do one of these and like jump into the shop. So
Free cleaning, dry cleaning.
Redesigned the entire system to put the water is on the outside, because I didn't go outside for like 3 days. So I was so upset. I was like, I can't. So he had to redesign the whole system. But
You just gave them a free dry cleaning. That's all. See, there goes all those mites that you were worried about.
Right. Well, we found a really easy way to clean a quail.
Yeah.
That is not a way that you'll ever see a quail gone.
So I think we need to take into consideration when we're setting our heights for things that a quail's neck is a lot longer than it looks like. Anyone who has popped the heads off a quail and processed can attest that it's actually quite a bit longer than what we see. So you put it up so they have to stretch for it. They're not going to be sitting in it.
That is such a good point. I never thought about that.
Yeah, their necks are pretty long.
They really do have long necks. I've noticed that if they try to if you don't get the height just right on the egg rollouts, they can stick their head way far out and try to scoop the eggs back in and try to get them.
Before we started making the egg covers, I'd go out in the morning and there'd be a bunch of quail heads sticking up underneath under. Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? Now we put egg covers on everything, so we don't see it. I'm sure they still do it, but they don't get to talk to me anymore.
I'm trying to think what. Oh, okay. Your cages. It probably depends, because I know you have several different versions. Are they better indoors, outdoors, multi-purpose?
Well, brooders are always better in some controllable environment.
Right.
The brooding is brooding. It doesn't matter if you're outside in 30 below or outside in 100 degrees. The only thing that's going to change is the amount of energy required to maintain your brooder at the brooding temperature it's supposed to be at. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing that changes. Obviously, it's the easiest and safest and just more manageable doing it in some sort of enclosure or environmentally controlled area. So that's why we have a brooder room.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the cages go, you gotta have some common sense. Yes, 3 tiers can go outside, but you're going to want them to put a roof on it, minimum, a cover of some sort. You're not just going to throw it out there and let the rain and everything hit them. Yeah, when it's 85 degrees, it's probably not going to hurt them. It's going to piss them off, and they're probably not going to lay eggs for a few days. But, the options are endless. Love that thing when it comes to modifying your stuff. A roof is easy. There's political signs, corrugated cardboard everywhere. Plastic.
There is political signs everywhere. It's so true.
It is. Just grab something, throw it on it. Just something to keep that direct rainfall off of them. And then put your cages where there's natural shade. That's what they need. People put up walls and, I put a pallet behind the cage to make shade, and that is good. That is definitely a good step in the right direction. However, natural shade is much cooler than man-made shade.
So true.
Find a tree, find the side of a building that, for us, we're in the Northern Hemisphere, find the north side of a building. They probably get some sun in the morning, get some sun in the evening, but probably not going to get it in the middle of the day. Like for me, where my chickens are, they don't get sun in the middle of the day. The hottest part of the day, they don't get sun, and it's great. They don't get stressed out from the heat. Our animals don't like heat.
Mm-hmm.
The hutch, you throw that bad boy right outside. Just kick her right to the curb. Rain, snow, sleet. It's like the old USPS motto. It don't stop. It just goes. That's what it's for. That's what we designed it for. Yeah, it might get some grayness to it. It shouldn't really warp. We've had our prototype is still, I'm pretty sure, in my neighbor's yard 4 years now. It's been hit by a tractor. It's been hit by a truck. It's been hit by lawnmowers. It's been used. It's been flipped
Wow,
by
really?
windstorms. It's been screwed and unscrewed to try new things, and it
It
was a
went by a
prototype. It
truck?
was the first
You
one I
didn't
ever
see
built.
it?
It's still standing. I mean, I wouldn't sit on it like I sit on my new one, but
Right.
it's still standing. I like it. I'm like, man, this thing is it's
And
a
they're
really decent
lightweight.
thing.
That's crazy it can take that much of a beating because
Yeah.
that thing was light enough
Well,
I could pick it up
that's
myself and
also why the
throw it.
wind flips them. Okay, that it's something I can walk people through fixing. The stability, if they live like me, where we deal with a lot of wind here. I mean, tornadoes, whatever. We get a lot of wind here.
So do you
Um,
tack it down or like
no, so you just
bungee it?
extend. So you just put a board across the legs, front to back, that extends out. So just to give it a wider stance. Kind
Okay.
of like the swing that I built. We've got these little legs that
Oh,
actually make
I
it go
see.
out, right? So it
Okay.
makes it a lot sturdier. If people are having that issue, which we do here, we have a lot of wind, and my
Yeah,
yard is
like we
natural
don't really
wind
get
tunnel.
tornadoes occasionally,
I think
but
we've only had like 34 this year, so I think we're good.
is that a
We,
small amount?
I think it's average. I think we're mostly through tornado season. Our season starts pretty well at the end of everyone else's. So, wind has actually been down significantly this year. My corn pollination was down because of the lack of wind.
Oh,
I was
wow.
actually talking to the teacher that I do the community garden with. She's the school side of the community garden. She's a middle school teacher, science teacher, spelling teacher, and she was saying the same thing. That we noticed the wind is way down this year, so we
Mhm.
had to actually use our blower, our little air blower to pollinate our corn. Because the wind just hasn't been here. My tomatoes are feeling it. We grow really, really dense on our property to provide what we do, but we count on that wind to help
Mhm.
alleviate some of the diseases that you deal with when you grow that dense. And we just haven't had the wind this year. It's really weird.
So you just take like a
So,
leaf blower and just go at them?
yep, yep, just go right at it. I know I read back in the day it was a kid's chore. They go out and shake the corn. That was a thing. Depending on where you live, some people don't live where it's really windy, or they live in a valley or a bluff where, well, bluffs would have wind, but not all valleys have wind. So yeah, they go and shake the corn. So we just use modern technology, the leaf blower, and just blew it to pollinate our corn this year. We had to.
That's really funny. I never thought about that, but yeah, that would explain a lot of why the tomatoes don't do as good some years here.
Yeah, got to have wind. Got to have that airflow. It prevents a lot of diseases. It helps slow down um, whatever blight, tomato blight, stuff like that. So
Oh yeah, we get that here.
yeah, I
Okay.
think it's pretty well everywhere.
Um, okay, what are the most common mistakes you see beginners make when building their own or buying quail cages? Or do people send you their
I,
attempts?
I I've talked to a lot of people over the years, and I try to help people through issues. That it's a tough one for me because I think mistakes are important. Mistakes are how I got to where I'm at. So I don't want people to feel like if they're not doing it right, they shouldn't be doing it. You need to make mistakes.
Yeah.
I think the biggest one kind of ties into what we talked about at the beginning is you want to have an idea of what your goal is with your quail. That is going to help guide you in your design. Um, Really, I mean, it's huge. The biggest mistake is people just, well, I see these stacked cages, and I want 6 girls, so I'm going to do stacked cages and put 2 girls in each cage. And it's like, okay, so now you've got a lot of extra space there. You've got a lot of extra work. Is that stuff all really necessary? But at the same time, I want people to know it's good to make those mistakes. It's good to
Mhm.
hone in. Sometimes you don't know what your goal is, and you've got to make these mistakes.
Mhm.
So don't go too high. It's not a sure thing they're going to break their neck and pop, but the chances of it happening at under 12 or 16 inches are a lot slimmer than it happening when it's, 24 inches,
I
36
can never
inches.
remember is it 12 or above 18?
It's just
There's
like anything else with quail. It's supposed to be under 2 over 6 or under 12 over 6 is
under
is
12 over
what
6.
is
Okay.
what a lot of people say, but nothing is for sure. There's no right or wrong way. It's just,
And
you
it
know,
depends. Sometimes some of them don't. Some of them are chill and they don't flush, and some of them do
my birds
that.
are connected to a workshop where power tools and tractors are run and equipment's run all day long, and they don't care.
Yeah,
I mean, now if some new stranger walks in there, they all freak out, but I can
right.
I can start a table saw inside there and they're just like, "Hey, what's up?" So, yeah, that would be I guess what I would say is something for people to really think about is put some effort or some thought into what they want to do with the quail. And the second mistake is the poop. I mean, you've got to build around your poop.
Yeah.
You have to. And that's the second biggest thing I hear people when they call me and they're like, I love my design, or I built this and I'm not happy with it. I really like yours. I tried to build it similar to yours. And I want that. Yes, we want to sell cages, but that is not our business philosophy. It is not what my family does. We teach. We
Mhm.
don't charge for anything on our property. The food, the classes, the workshops, for us helping is not what we do. We want people to know how to do this stuff. So I love when people call me and it's like they feel like they think they're asking me to do something I don't want to do. Like, no,
Mhm.
I want to help people. I want people to call me with their cage building issues. I'll happily walk them through them. I mean, I might throw a little pitch in and just be easier to buy mine, but I'm still going to help you fix your problem.
Right.
Like, I mean, I still have a business to run, but yeah, I think that really is it. The poop. We'll stick with the poop. Build around your poop. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
makes it
needs to
so
be
much
like the
easier.
headline in all the quail groups. Just build around your poop.
Yeah, that's true. It should be a headline. Okay. Okay, where do you want to promote your website and tell people where they can find all these awesome things?
Doesn't everyone know? Oh, I should have put that as my name. I could have put my website as my name. Save the step. Efficiency. Well, yeah, dalesquails.com. We did just completely redo the entire website. We've been working behind the scenes for months, getting it recoded. It was a hot mess. You can tell I'm a homesteader and not a website designer. It's not what I do. I am a nerd, but I don't design things other than practical things like cages. So it took me a long time to get this new
Yeah,
website
because you
updated.
didn't you do it yourself?
Oh yeah, I'm way too cheap. Way too cheap. Oh, way too cheap. But yeah, I did it all myself. I get feedback from people. There's a lot of people, not just in the quail community, but a lot of people I've met over the years and my previous career that I trust giving me solid feedback and criticism that can be worked with, areas of opportunity, not just, well, this sucks. So I had a lot of people kind of help guide me into the new feel of the website. I am really happy with it. My wife's really happy with it. Some of the feedback from our long-term or repeat customers, they really enjoy the new site. I think the guides section is, I mean, I have so many guides that I've been working on to just get it out there. We're not hiding anything behind a paywall. I won't do it yet. If you sign up for our to get our newsletter, I think I only send like 2 a month. I've only sent one so far, so I'm gonna try to send one this week. Two a month. You'll get some like special discounts and promo codes, stuff like that. But no actual information is hidden behind a paywall. I don't. That's just not who we are. So, and I put some information out that's going to go against what a lot of people see in these groups. So I also have sources up there for people to actually go and find where this information is coming from, like our quail, egg, and meat nutrition compared
Mhm.
against chicken and duck. And I urge people to look at it. And I urge people to call out sellers and breeders who aren't sticking to the actual nutritional guide. We need more of that. We need to stop this. Quail eggs are way better than chicken. And yeah, they're great, but eat a good diet has all three. I'll just leave it at that. So there's a lot of resources, and we're just going to keep adding to it. The more information and feedback I get from people on what they want to know about or learn about, the easier it is for me. we do so much that it's hard for me to hone in on just one thing at a time. My
Mhm.
brain, as you can tell with the way I talk, is it's kind of everywhere. It's just kind of who I am. I'm like I said, I'd like to go. So anyone who goes on the website, if there's something that you think is lacking, or a guide or a walkthrough that you want to see, let me know. I will happily get it done within reason. There are some things that I'm not going to do. I'm not going to put up processing videos because there's 687,000 of them on YouTube.
That's so
I'm
true.
trying to not copy what anyone does. Yes, some information is going to carry from place to place to place, but I am finding a lot of stuff that I'm learning about. I've been learning about the true origin of Coturnix quail. There's some eye-opening stuff that I don't think I've seen anyone ever talk about. So I'm going to be putting some of that stuff out. I do have it's it's in beta form, but a extremely accurate quail cost calculator, down to the water that you use
Oh,
to
yeah, I saw
maintain
you
your
talk about that,
to
and someone
maintain
was like,
your
"You should ask him about that," and I was like, "That's probably a
yeah.
whole 'nother video."
So I've been working on this for 2.5 years. This calculator, getting it set. Um, and I've been testing it. Someone actually just asked yesterday in a group, or the night before. It was my anniversary night, so I wasn't doing it that night. About quail costs, and
Mhm. I
I
saw that.
I I talked to him on the phone yesterday, and it was nice to be able to see it in action. I used my actual calculator, with the information they gave me, to give him, a rundown, and he was pretty close on what, his estimates were, but there's a lot of things that people don't always think about when they're factoring their
Mhm.
costs. So I've got it, so you can put in your incubator, like what you can put in your heat lamp, whatever heat plate, whatever you have, like it'll track everything. And then you can download it, a PDF, so you have record of it. I'm thinking about making it available for Google, like Google Worksheets, right, where you can just kind of leave it online and people can go in and just update their own thing. I don't know about that stuff, but I think that's what you can do with that,
I was like, I have no idea
like
either.
Google Docs or something, where it just stays on there. Anyway, that's to come. I'm going to try at the end of this week to get the calculator available for people to actually get to. So I'm really hoping that people try it, and I'm really hoping there's issues. So then I know where to. I need issues. I learn from mistakes, so I need it to not work well in order to get it honed in. If that makes any sense.
Mhm.
But it should work good, and it's a formula that I've been working on. I used it when I worked in grocery stores. I was really big on efficiencies. You can't make yourself efficient if you don't know every single expenditure. So it's just kind of something that I enjoy
Talk
doing as a
about that in
hobby.
a couple videos
Yeah,
I've done with
ma-
people.
making things efficient. So the calculator should really help people. I'm hoping it does. If not, it's there free. I don't charge for it. You just go on the website and go to the. I think it's in. I'll put it in the guide section and go to the quail cost calculator. I did put a guide on there on selling your significant other on getting Coturnix quail, though. So
Did you?
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
I get
gosh,
that. I get that. People be like,
I
"Yeah, I
need
want to
to
get
tell
quail, but
people
my
about
husband
that.
doesn't." So
I have just been sending people to my YouTube and I'm like, go watch it with your spouse. But if there's like an actual guide, I
yeah,
have had literally like 3 people ask me like last week at the farmer's market how they were going to sell their spouse. And they were like taking pictures of everything. So,
I'm going to keep building off of them too. So like I've got some similar to like Zach. Zach did a really good job with his Quail for Profit video set list on his YouTube
mhm,
channel. So I'm diving in a little bit deeper to each, not his categories, but in some of the categories we've done, I'm diving a little bit deeper into what people can do, like almost step by step. So I'm really excited to start getting some of those out. My goal is to just teach, just let people learn. We've been doing this for so long. We've met so many wonderful people and learned from so many mistakes that we've made, that it feels like we're robbing the community if we don't put this information out there. And most of this information is out there. I mean, I don't know
mhm.
anything that other people don't know or isn't available for other people. I'm just a nerd. I really enjoy learning things. So I kind of just take it upon myself to learn as much as I can. So hopefully it comes in use for people.
No,
But
I
again,
think it
I
will
need
be.
feedback. I need to know what people want so I can, get it out there for you. If you wanna know what a mock up between a quail and a chicken cockfight looks like, you know what? I'll probably do that for you too.
That actually would be really funny.
No, it wasn't. That's illegal. Shh, don't do that.
No, but like have you ever seen those? They have like the bug fights and they do like they have whole books. My kids have a book called Bug Wars and it's like what
Oh,
would happen in a fight between this and
okay,
that. I
cool.
think quail would lose. Just they're not very smart, but
I do have. I'm going to release it in the spring. A project of mine for the last few years is a homestead hub app, a homestead companion. I
oh,
haven't.
like app, that'd be cool.
So it is. It is something that it's. There's nothing in the app stores that does what this does. So really excited to get some time this winter to finish it. I've been testing it for like the last 6 months on our homestead just to see, how handy it really is, and it has made my life so much easier. It's so much easier with the amount of stuff that we
Anything
do
that makes
having.
homesteading easier is like worth it.
Oh yeah, especially when you do a lot of stuff.
Hmm.
Easier for quail, easier for the garden processing. Everything is right there. No more. "Well, I got to grab grandma's cookbook." Don't worry, keep grandma's cookbook. You're still going to need it. But
Hmm.
on the fly stuff, it's just got everything right there. I haven't told anyone, so shh. It's been a
Don't
secret
tell
project.
anybody, guys.
It's been a secret project for a few years that I've just been working away at.
When's
So
it supposed to release?
I
Do you
want to
know yet?
say I want to have all winter to. I got some people once I get the interface completely done the way I want it to look. I've got some people that I trust that are not saying I don't trust you, but I've got some homies that
Oh, I
are
don't
gonna give it the
homestead
run
near as much
through.
as you guys, so
So
I see it way back this year.
I'm hoping spring. My goal is spring to have the winter to let it really get pushed through and fix any of the bugs and stuff like that because I do my own coding and that's just a hobby of mine. So yeah, I'm excited. So
That sounds really awesome. I'm excited to see that when it comes out.
I'm sure you'll get a link to it. It's not going to be free, unfortunately.
No, I mean, yeah, you can't make everything free. Like it takes.
No, no. But yeah, I put up a 10-step plan to retire my wife in the next 3 years. So I'm just working through my 10-step
Oh,
plan.
nice. Was
Yep.
that your anniversary present?
No, no. She got 400 and some pounds of potatoes to process for our anniversary present. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. She's on a potato processing mission. So yeah, we got to pressure can our tomatoes
Oh, I was
or
gonna say, how do
potatoes.
you process a potato? Put it in
Pressure
the
can
root
'em.
cooler? Oh,
No,
yeah,
we
that
don't, we
wow.
put some in the root, but we grow soft potatoes. We grow Yukon Golds. They
Oh,
won't preserve very long, a couple months. So we pressure can I think 320 pounds is what we're gonna do this year. We'll have put away and the rest we'll dehydrate and use. I mean, we'll dehydrate and use,
yeah, yeah.
but
That's
yeah,
awesome.
it's a lot of work. So I told her for like the last 2 weekends, I've been bringing her a couple coolers full of 55 pounds of potatoes every cooler and being like, yep, anniversary present 1 out of 16. So I think we're at 8 out of 16. She's halfway through.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, she's a beast. She is a pressure cannon
I was
beast.
just getting ready to say that. I was like, dude, she's a beast.
Oh yeah. Yeah, my house is really hot even with the air on right now. So yeah, she's a pressure cannon beast. I mean, she's a food preserving beast anyway. She's phenomenal. We have 4 dehydrators going, the pressure can or the water bath can, or she goes.
Awesome. I think that was all the questions I wrote down to ask you about the cages. So, is there anything else you want to like add to like tie everything in?
No, I just want people to know that there's no right or wrong way. What works for one is not going to work for the other. If your birds are producing eggs, you are doing it the right way. More people need to understand that. Have fun with it. Add the sand, don't add the sand.
Yeah.
If you're going to treat them as pets, treat them as pets. You
Give
know,
them a name.
give them a name. I I think that's part of why I don't really do a lot in the groups because I get annoyed. Like I don't the you have to do this way or you should be doing it this way. I guess that kind of just irks me a little bit because
Yeah.
there's so many different ways. And you know what? People need to learn. They need to learn their mistakes. You're going to learn if you make mistakes. So
I
yeah,
tell
have fun
all
with
my
it.
people, if the birds are happy, you're happy, and
Good.
it's efficient for you, then you're good.
Yeah.
Because if you do it someone else's way and it's way too hard for you and it's frustrating you, and that's your first step into like trying to be more self-sufficient, you're not going to want to stay with it. So you
No,
should
and then you're
find
going to
a way
take
that
that
works for
philosophy
you.
into everything. Well, I have to grow this way because they are. I have to. It's like no,
No,
no, no.
you do
Just have
you. You
fun
do
with
it what's
it.
going to
You
work for
know,
you. Everyone's
guides are
situation is
good to
different.
get that. It's a guide. It's not a
Mhm.
step by step. Hold your hand. It's a guide. Okay, so the purpose of this is to get my quail to stay alive and lay eggs. How you get there? That's on you. Have some fun with
Mhm.
it. Paint your cages. Hang them upside down. Whatever. I mean, don't hang your birds upside down.
Yeah, I was like, not the birds, maybe the cage. That would be.
Yeah, unless you're doing pictures, then it makes them really docile for a second. But I also get really woozy when you hang me upside down, so I understand that. But no, just have fun with it. I think we need to keep pushing that. Just do what you want to do. Take what people say with a grain of salt, including us. I try to make sure when I speak, I'm not coming off as demanding or condescending. Like I just do make those mistakes, have fun with it, reach out. Most people, even the ones that say you should be doing this and you have to do that, if you reach out to them personally, they're usually not like that. That's just a group
That's
mentality
a
thing. And
fact.
people,
That is a fact.
yeah, people just have this persona like, well, people think I need to know this, so I need to make it sure. It's fine. Just reach out to them.
Mhm.
Hey, I can you help me with this? You know, Posting in groups is great. Just be prepared for the 1,000 different answers. And guess what? That's okay because there's more than one way to do things.
Yeah.
So have fun with it. Reach out to anyone. Just, apparently sharing graphic photos as the main picture is not really enjoyed. I see a lot of people complain about that. So
Put it in the comments section.
yeah, I don't know. I get it. Not everyone's into seeing animals hanging upside down skinned. Trust me. I know.
I'm used to it at this point, but yeah. It's not the first thing you want to see if you're trying to find out how best to help Sally, your quail with the bumblefoot.
Well, if you're
You
naming your
don't want
quail
to think about
Sally,
Sally
yeah,
as a dinner menu.
yeah. But that's okay. People do need to know that and this is more for the people who think it's funny that people have pets. It's okay to have a pet. I have a pet duck. Yes, I have an animal on my property that I wouldn't eat. That does absolutely
I do
nothing
too.
for our property. He does nothing. He's annoying. He hates women. I guess that's his thing. But he's our pet. His name is Ronald, and he's a call duck. He's like 6 years old, and he's leash trained, but he's cool.
He's
It's
leash trained.
okay.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. I think I got a picture we posted last year. We used to walk him with one of our goats. They just go on a walk together.
That's
It's
so
okay to
funny.
have pets. I mean, I don't think everything has to be a livestock, but it's okay if it is. And most of our stuff is. But Ronald, I probably wouldn't eat him. I don't know. I say I would, but I'd be really hungry. He's a cool
Yeah.
dude. But have your pet, Sally. When people get all up in arms about it, just remember they're the ones that are freaking out, not you. Enjoy your birds. The more enjoyable the experience is, the better life is.
Mm-hmm. It's so true.
Just be like Kelly and just not care. I think I just sent someone to you yesterday. I told them to reach out to you for buying bulk like feet and feathers and stuff. I don't know if you do that, but
Oh, I don't know.
yeah,
I check my spam. Half the time it goes in my spam or it's
yeah.
somewhere buried in my email.
I don't know. I told them I gave them your website and said
Oh, thanks.
because they were looking at doing feet and stuff. So I was like, well, reach out.
Oh, so many feet.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
I
try
was like,
not
you
to
might
really.
only get like half a penny a foot, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah,
So
it's
I don't.
true. All right. Well, yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you, Dale, for
Yeah.
taking time out of your busy homesteading day to talk to us about quail cages. So, and guys, dalesquails.com. Check it out. If you forget, go to my website, featherconnections.com, and you literally can find the link and click on it, and it'll show up at his page. And
And
so
I
you can
don't have
see our
Kelly on
stuff.
my website, so don't lose her website because I can't direct you there.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, it's kind of hard to spell my last name, but if you're here, you can see how to
I'll,
spell it.
I'll get it
So,
on there. I'll get it on probably this week when I try to get that calculator finalized. So thanks for watching, everyone. Don't hesitate to reach out. Quail, cages, quail, whatever, homesteading. Just want to vent about Kelly. That's fine. Just reach out. I'll be quiet about it.
okay, bye guys.
Bye.